Hello, so I thought I would record some commentary for this video since there's a bunch of details that I think warrant an explanation. So in case you don't know what's going on, we're gonna glitch Hunter out of his level and then navigate all the way to the final level in the game, just using him. And then we're also gonna go back again, just to show that it's possible to go back and forth. To start off with, I use a ledge clip. When a character pulls themselves up on a ledge, they essentially ignore collision. So if you grab a ledge at a corner, like at the right angle, you can basically pull yourself out of bounds that way. This doesn't work everywhere, but conveniently there is a ledge very close to the beginning of the Gloomy Glacier where you can do it. A lot of the floors in this game actually extend a bit beyond the walls, so you can walk alongside of them while you're out of bounds, which is what I'm doing here. It's a bit tricky, but eventually you can just glitch your way past Spyro and get into Frostbite Village. Goodbye, Spyro. The first shop path that we're gonna walk past here is loaded, but that's only because we were just here as Spyro a minute ago. Shop paths usually don't load while you're playing as Hunter, and even when they are loaded, you can't enter the menu, unfortunately. So you can't teleport around a realm by just teleporting with the shop pad. That just doesn't work. However, the main teleporter does work. Well, sorta. When you use it and select a location to teleport to, it fails to initiate the teleport sequence, but your checkpoint still gets set, so if you die in the reload, then you will respawn at where you picked. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna open the menu, select the last realm, and then I'm just gonna go die, and then I'll respawn where I selected to teleport to. So here's something funny about Hunter when you're playing as him outside of his intended levels. Normally when you land in water, he just drowns instantly. But that only applies to some water in the game. Most other water surfaces in the game he could just walk on, Jesus style. I'm really not sure why, but it makes exploring the levels as him much easier. I should also mention that this is a task. It's an input file recorded with save states, so that's why it's kind of an idealized run-through of this scenario. It's not like recorded in real time. It's very, very easy to take damage in a lot of sections because of how relentless the enemies are. Oh, and as if Hunter walking on water wasn't funny enough, he can also just walk on lava, because, I mean, why not? This also makes it a hell of a lot easier to navigate these early levels. So when you're playing as Hunter, the enemies are really, really annoying to deal with, and that's mostly because Hunter's attacks weren't designed to be used against them, so oftentimes you just can't kill them at all, which is really annoying because then you have to navigate around them, and that's especially annoying with these little fire imp enemies, which often block these hallways that you have to move through. It's a pain to get around them. A lot of these gaps were meant for Spyro to glide across, but thankfully Hunter can jump really, really well, so he can make it across most of them. But this is a major reason why I don't think it's possible for Blink to go all this way. Here's the first hallway, which is a pain to get through. I think I could have avoided taking damage there, but I just didn't want to spend any more time on this. Hunter can't kill any of the fire-related enemies in this level, and he also cannot kill the big Norks, so getting around them can be quite finicky at times. When you push up against a slanted wall, even if it's just slightly slanted, as Hunter, he will gain a lot of height while he jumps, so that's what I use here to get up this ledge. If you feel it's too tough to navigate past these firebirds, you can actually just drop down onto the lava and then navigate to a platform that will just bring you back up to the top. I'm not sure why this platform is here, but that's nice. And here's the second tight tunnel with these annoying fire imp enemies, though luckily this one isn't as bad as the first one. The fact that Hunter can walk on lava is kind of both a blessing and a curse in some situations. There are some pits where the lava is supposed to kill you if you reach the bottom, so if you land at the bottom there as Hunter, then he'll just be stuck down there and you'll have to reload. Oh, I should probably also note that I have actually gone through all these levels as Spyro before, so most of the path has been cleared. It's not like Hunter is going through these levels for the first time or anything. supposed to use wall kick to get up these ledges, but thankfully Hunter can just jump high enough to reach the top. This wouldn't actually be an issue anyway, as you'll see later. I actually wrote off the possibility of Hunter reaching the final level long ago because I thought there was no way to get past the ball gadget section here, and that's because when you try and use a ball gadget pad as Hunter, the game will just soft lock. You can only quit and reload. Hunter will just be stuck in place. But then I found out that if you just wedge yourself in a corner of the ball gadget station and position yourself just right, you can actually clip straight through to the other side, and then you can just hit the loading zone directly. Most ball gadget sections force you to be the ball gadget when you enter them, but this one doesn't for some reason, so you just spawn in the level as the character you were playing as, in this case Hunter. This means we can navigate the whole way as Hunter on foot, which is actually pretty easy because the bottomless pits that the ball gadget can fall down is actually just a special type of surface that any other character can just walk on. So here Hunter's just walking on the air because the ball gadget is supposed to die as soon as it touches that surface. This level without the ball gadget is generally just really janky. There are invisible walls lining the sides of the track throughout the whole way, and even then it's actually pretty easy to accidentally fall off. Interestingly enough, the minecarts don't actually hurt you at all. The ending of the section here is especially janky with its collision. I am really not sure what's going on here, but it works. So we've made it past the ball gadget section, but I'd argue that the worst is yet to come. Even if I hadn't gone through a Spyro already at this point, Hunter can actually break dark gems just normally, so it wouldn't really have been an issue at this point. We're coming up to a very boring section, but we can actually make it a bit less boring, because remember, Hunter can walk on lava. We do have to navigate these platforms a bit until we hit the loading trigger, and then we can just drop down and continue on to Darkmind. So it's at this point that the levels start getting more and more cramped with enemies and more tight to navigate, which is really annoying. I actually have to wait a bit here until these poisonous gas spitters things stop spewing gas so I can get past them safely. And these minor robots were a pain to get past.
Go ahead, Spyro. If you've got money to spend, I am here.
If you get here without having defeated the laser turret enemies and destroyed the dark gem, it might seem a bit hopeless to get past here without Spyro. But actually you can just defeat the laser turret enemies with Hunter's fire arrows for some reason. can't defeat those big red robo-nerks, so we have to find another way past that doorway because it's way too tight. Luckily, when Hunter takes damage in the air, there's actually a single frame where he can jump, and you can just hold the jump button to buffer that input. So if you get knocked way into the air by that enemy's attack, you can actually just jump out of the air and above him because the ceiling isn't solid. In this section, luckily Hunter can jump just far enough to make all these gaps without gliding or using the swing poles. I probably could have used the same trick with damage boosting in the air and just jumping past the door here, but I just didn't think of that at the time of recording. Another quirk with playing as Hunter is that timers just don't appear for some reason. They do still count down in the background though. Again, this doorway is too tight and we can't defeat that enemy, so we have to use a damage boost and then jump in midair to get past. Here, luckily, Hunter's jump goes high enough so we can reach the light gym platform and just navigate across from there. We're pretty much at the final level already, but I wanted to make sure that I get to the central hub just to prove that we can get all the way in and all the way out again. So the main obstacle with this level is that there are a lot of doors that are guarded by these big robo enemies, and of course we can't kill those. So instead we're gonna have to make use of ledge clipping and a very conveniently placed platform just out of bounds here. I'm really not sure why this is here, but it's very convenient for us. Surprisingly enough, this is not the first time that an out-of-bounds platform can be used to navigate out of bounds with Hunter. We can then just walk on some out-of-bounds floor to make it past the robo-nerks guarding the doors. And here we are at the final level's central hub. To make it all the way back again, we unfortunately can't make use of the same route, because there just isn't any ledge clip that I found to work the same way. So we're gonna go to the next room over and use a mid-air jump glitch to get up to the higher floor here. Then we're gonna jump all the way up to this monitor here, where Hunter sort of stutters a bit. It's a bit tough to get a jump off it, but you can eventually just get out of bounds. Then you can jump all the way over to the next room over, and then land on the floor out of bounds here. From here you can just barely do a ledge grab on top of that door, so you can jump all the way back to the beginning of the level. This is actually way harder than it looks. It's also much harder than usual, because the floors in this level don't often extend very far beyond the wall, so it's really tough to walk along the walls here, out of bounds. You might be wondering if Hunter can fight the final boss, and yes he can. Funnily enough, you can actually light the rockets with his pounce stomp for some reason, but the rest of the fight is impossible, because there's just no way to light the electric switches in phase 2. You might also be wondering why I'm bothering to go all the way back to Spyro again, and that's simply because there's no other way to return to playing as Spyro. Even if you enter a minigame and then exit out of it again, the game actually remembers who you were playing as, so you just stay being Hunter. In fact, once you glitch a character outside of their intended levels, it's only actually in a few select scenarios that you can return to playing as Spyro again, so if you're planning on doing these glitches, then you need to do a bit of planning. Luckily for us, we can use the exact same trick with jumping in midair after getting hit to get past these doors back the other way. Other than a few quirks, it's pretty much the same process getting back to where we began, so my commentary might be a bit sparser throughout this. The wall surface type that Spyro can wall kick off of is actually this exact same type that Hunter can wall climb on, and also the same type that Blink can wall kick off, so he can just climb all the way up here. You might be interested in knowing how far Hunter can explore in other realms as well. Well, I'm actually working on a project with another YouTuber where we get to see Hunter exploring a whole heap of levels, so stay tuned for that. I don't know why, but this door is half open. We can just ledge grab to get past. You're not actually supposed to get past this ledge here without teleporting to the shot pad above it. As you can see, it's too high for Spyro's double jump, but Hunter has no trouble with it. For some reason, the link map between Darkmind and Magma Falls actually fails to load if you approach from this direction in the level. So I take some intentional damage and then death abuse after getting the checkpoint out here. And thankfully, when you respawn, it loads the level correctly. Unfortunately, this time around there's no way to reach the ledge on the other side of this chasm from the lava down below, so we have to traverse these very, very slow-moving platforms. Man, this sure is exciting.
Over here.
One unfortunate fact about Hunter is that if you touch an invincibility pad as Hunter, he will enter a state where he's invulnerable to any damage, and this never goes away, it never runs out, and you can't escape from dying from a bottomless pit or quitting and reloading. It'll just stay on permanently, so you'll just ruin your file if you do that. The reason this ruins your file is because you can no longer die and respawn after selecting a teleport location with the main teleporter, so you're just stuck in realm 4. And to make it worse, the pads are actually completely invisible to Hunter because they're just not loaded at all. We can use the exact same clip with the ball gadget station as last time to get past it and just hit the loading zone directly, although this time it's a bit harder because there's no ground behind it to stand on, so you have to jump into it directly after clipping it through. Luckily for us, these fire imp enemies on the ground are actually intangible until they've finished their spawning animation, so we can just walk right through them if we just walk quickly enough.
Go ahead, Spyro, if you got money to spend.
And because we had to get past these tunnels with the fire imps once, we also have to do it the other way. Hooray!
Go ahead, Spyro, if you got money to spend, I am here to relieve you.
We would almost be stuck here if Hunter couldn't make this pretty tight jump down here, but luckily he can. Once again, to teleport with the main teleport pad, we have to first select the location and then go and die and respawn. And we're back again, and Spyro is probably very confused to see Hunter coming from the other direction. So, that's it. That's how you get Hunter all the way to the final level and all the way back to Spyro again.
So, Hunter, are you ready for me to get going?
I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Bye bye.